Ain't going back, not gonna buy into all that. Hey, hey, ain't gonna hide, gonna let all the fears slide. Got mother nature, it's on my side. Got a whole of the loving growing inside.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Autodidactic. It's Lorenzo from the New Now, Campbell, that is, from Autodidactic. Practical Evolution for Life, our event coming up, a little plug, October 6th, 7th, and 8th in Port St. Lucie, Florida. And our topic today, very related, is the wrong road home. The wrong road home. If you ask many people if they're lost in their life, probably they want to go home. You know, there's that old song from John Denver, you know, country roads take me home. You know, what is right, what is wrong, what is a road, and what is home? What do you think, Campbell? Let's discuss the first topic here. I think what everyone needs, if you want to go home, you have to know what home is. So what is home? What do you think is a good definition of home?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, home. um, I mean, I think it's all a journey. You know, trying to get better. But home is a destination of who you want to be. But I think that if we look at it as a finite destination, it has to be bang, bang, bang. You know, it has to be a white house, and it has to have a black Porsche, and I have to have a woman like this. I don't think that works. I think we need to look at you know, the more emotional. So it's feelings, isn't it? You've got to look at what's going to make you feel good. So, you know, if it's a house on the beach you want, then great, go for it. But don't be too specific about how the house must look and how everything must work. Just put out the intention and leave yourself open, because the thing is, you know, the universe will, most of the time, I'd say all the time, gives you more and a better than what we can imagine. And so being too defined, I think, is a problem. And that's not saying that, you know, you shouldn't go for goals, but excuse me, it's like I said, it's more of a feeling. Like, where do you want to be? Where do you want to end up? How do you want to feel? Why do you want these things is really the question.
I mean, all those sayings, and as you said, you like your sayings, seem to come back to me right now. You can't step in the same river twice. You can never go home. Home is where the heart is. You know, even you and I were chatting before we came on about practical history and what, historically speaking, people were in the eras that they happen to live in, whether it's now. I mean, people from 50 years ago are very different from people now. Even people from 20 years ago are very different from people now. So imagine people from 100, 500, 1,000 years ago. And the reason I mention this is, what is home to you? You know, wherever you are, like your heart is your home, let's say. So I would say you are your home. I mean, wherever you go, if you're creating a reality, and I'm positive that we do, you know, regardless of some of the messages that I get over the last many months that say maybe we don't, you are how you make your day to day. You are how you make a reality. And I don't mean, even on a surface level, it's easy for people to understand that, right? If you're happy, generally happy is coming back to you. If you're kind, perhaps kindness is coming back to you. If you work hard, you know, and you're diligent and you have a business, or you have a hobby, or you have a garden, probably the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And I think that's like a surface way of looking at what is the road and what is home. But I would say, energetically speaking, if you look much deeper, if you look at Rumi, or you look at Carlos Castaneda, or you look at Gurdjieff, or any of the you know, even if you want to look at Eckhart Tolle, you know, a lot of people, so from a more modern perspective, if you are your home and you are your reality and you are the dream you're making, you know, that's why I'm calling this one the wrong road home. Is if you're just looking, as Campbell said, of a house and a Porsche and shiny shoes, you know, perhaps that wouldn't be your right road home if the way home for you is a spiritual one, let's say, an energetic one, a happy one, a healthy one, you know, one where you are creating the kind of reality you would like to live in. So maybe the important part about the road home is to even notice what road you're on and what that road is made of. You know, is it the home to Munchkinland, and, you know, the follow the golden brick road, which I believe is an erroneous way of looking at a monetary chasing of things, or is it a road towards your own energetic purpose and power, which I would feel would be the best road to be on to find your right road home?
Mm. Yeah, well, everything is inside us, right? So all we're really doing is trying to get our, you know, what's inside us out, so we can experience it, right? Get our thoughts and emotions and what we want, you know, project them out. It's also this thing of, you know, projecting, like going forward rather than getting the past and bringing it forward and getting in that loop. You just do the same thing over and over. So we need something different that we're going for, something that's different from the past. But the other thing is, all this material stuff that people say they want, like where did those thoughts come from? Where did those wants come from? Did they come from inside you, or did they come from the television, from propaganda, from advertising, from all these influencers who say you must have this, you must look like this, blah blah blah? Because this is the main problem: is people are projecting someone else's vision forward, and when you do that, you're not connected to it, so you don't have that emotional connection, which means it's very hard to manifest. But also, if you do, finally, get the house and the Porsche, whatever, you're not going to be happy because it's not your dream. So you've just wasted all this time, and we see it all the time. People get there and they're like, oh, I've got it, but I'm just not happy. So the main thing is it's got to be from you. It's got to come from within. I think is the main thing. Don't get blindsided by the system, right, telling you must have this, and to be worthy you must look like this, and rah rah rah. Just take your own path. It's kind of like, if you were born in a tribe, right, you wouldn't know what a Porsche is, so you wouldn't want a Porsche. So it brings it back to, what do you really want? And what most people really want is to be happy, to be loved, to feel successful, to feel worthy. And if it's a real thought in you that to be worthy, you need to be fit, need to have whatever, then that's fine if it's coming from within. But the trap is, if we're taking other people's information, other people's goals, and trying to turn them into ours, then we're in a place of no power.
Yeah, so that's a good way of looking at the wrong road, which is why we've titled this The Wrong Road Home. Like, if the road is the road to retirement, or the road is the road to $1 million, or the road is the road to a Porsche or what have you, perhaps you're on the wrong road, as Cambell said, because someone else is telling you what happiness is. For me, the unknown road is the right road, the road where I don't know where I'm going, the road where I'm not sure what's around the next bend, the road that's maybe uphill instead of downhill because it's a little hard to walk, or it's not evenly paved, or it's got rocks on it, or trees in the way, or ponds that you have to skip across, or you're not even sure you can make it another step because you don't know if there's food there, you don't know if there's money there, you don't know anything. You're just there, for the adventure of seeing what comes next. Even myself yesterday, like I'm like everyone else, I've had that whole thing beaten into me about you need money to be successful. You need a lot of things to be successful. Even though I've tried to put that to one side, I know it's become a part of me because it's something that was put inside when I was small, from my parents, from Cambell, as Cambell said, TV, media, even your own experiences. If you have $500 in your pocket and you walk down the street, most of us will feel maybe somewhat better because they can buy food or they can pay for a taxi. On the other hand, when I went for a walk yesterday and I'm sitting in a park that I've been to before, and I saw a bird I never saw before. I may have told this story in another video. I went there yesterday just because I wanted to, and I was sitting on the same bench, and it's very strange. Like, a different bird showed up that I've never seen before. It was sitting on a fence there with a bright electric blue back. And so when I sat down, I thought I was dreaming or hallucinating. Like, literally, I sat down and I saw this bird with a big bill and like pretty much a neon electric blue. Like, I'm just going, what's that? And I'm watching it, and it's there and it's looking, and it was there for 5 minutes, and it just dove off the fence and disappeared. I didn't even see it fly away. Right. I got up from the bench I was sitting on. I went to look over. There's a huge lake there, or kind of a big pond, and it was gone. I don't know what happened. So was it real? I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter. Like, it's like saying, like, I can't take that bird and put it in my pocket and show people. And I can't take that bird and say, this is for me, for my life moving forward. And I feel better because I can trade it for a ham sandwich, right? Or I can trade it for a pretty lady, or I can trade it for a tanky. Like, I can't take that bird and trade it for anything. On the other hand, as I'm sitting here, I've got this huge, powerful, energetic feeling of the unknown, of beauty, of wonder that is possible in life simply because I had that experience. And I knew from there, I'm on my right road home because I had an experience that I've never had before. I had something that I can't buy. Like, $1 million wouldn't bring you a vision of that bird when you're sitting there by yourself in a park in the middle of the day, right? Nothing. But what brought that? Well, my path for becoming strong, my path for the videos I'm doing with Cambell, my path for my desire for practical evolution. And by knowing who I am and how I am and what I want to do and create, I've found my wrong road to my right road. And, sometimes it's interesting how they can be even on the same, right? Your wrong road could be on the left. You're looking for money, and the right road could be just having an amazing experience. And how you decide which is pretty much the path for deciding whether you're on your right or wrong road, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. You see, when we want stuff and we want more in life, we have to change. We have to become more. That's the reason we don't have what we want now, is because we're not that person. So the thing is, when we go for things, we're going to be given obstacles. And a lot of people, throw up their hands and go, oh my God, it's so hard. But that's the universe helping you. It's saying, great, you want this? Okay, well, you need to become this. You need to become more of this. You need to build this part of yourself, and then you can go forward. But people, again, they put all these markers. It must look like this. It must be this. Oh my God, if the girl that I meet is not wearing a green dress, and she's definitely not the one. And you miss everything. You miss it. And this is the problem. And another thing is, people want other people to see the world the way they see it. So they have, an event, like you said, with the blue bird. And, you can explain that, but no one's going to get from your story what you got from the experience. And this is the thing. We're all here for our own experience. We can only experience our own life. We can't pass it on to people. And this is all to do with validation, right? They want to validate themselves. Oh, I saw this and it was so amazing. And they're looking for the response of, oh my God, that was so amazing. You're so lucky. I see it. Oh my God. Whoa. But it's not for them. It's for you. Yeah. It's for you. So take what you get out of life and use it for you. And then, if you have, epiphanies or whatever, then sure, pass them on. But you can't expect anyone else to accept it the way that you did or have the same experience, because one, they're not you, and two, they don't want what you want. Everyone's on their own path. And even if it's to be whatever, fit and healthy, we have our own individual paths to get there. So the thing is, you've got to live your own life, and you've got to have your own experiences and realize they're for you, that they're not for the world. And I think this is a big problem, is this whole, I think it really comes back to validation. Am I good enough? Am I, blah, blah, blah. Unless you agree with me, then it's not worth anything. But again, life is for you. That's it. You can't live anyone else's life. You can't see through other people's eyes. You can't jump in someone else's brain and push buttons so that they see the world, the way that you see it. So, just remember that this experience is for you. It's tailor-made for you. Whatever you ask for, you will get. Well, whatever you put action into is what you will get. It'll be mirrored back to you. So, yeah, this is a big thing, I think, is the journey is yours. And so look at it that way, and look at each, event as tailor-made for you. Each experience, it is tailor-made for you. And it's all to do with you growing, so it's not got anything to do with anyone else. It's just you. So, make your dreams, make your goals, and go for them. And, a good point is don't tell everyone what you're doing, where you're going. We see it all the time. People come out with these massive, I'm going to do this. And it's so common, especially with, when people get into businesses, right? All these internet businesses and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to do this, or I'm in this business. I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to do this, rah, 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 rah. But, that's someone else's dream. That's not for you. So yeah, just understand that every experience you have is tailor-made for you. It's for you to interpret and for you to get a message from, and for you to then take action on and grow. And that way you'll go forward. But if you're yelling at everyone, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, and then you don't put the work in, what you're doing is you're telling the universe that you're not prepared to put work in, that you're not prepared to do the action. You just want to get this feeling in the moment, right? Oh my God, everyone's listening to me in the moment. They all think I'm going to be a millionaire. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean, it's funny that I just got a comment back from one of the videos we did. Just said you're a good man. I saw it pop up. I don't know what that means, right? Or I don't know the comment on. Yeah, maybe both of us. But it's interesting that we're having this talk. Like, you have to let the world talk to you. In other words, I mean, what is a man, right? Let's go into that, because we're both men here.
What is a woman, Lorenzo? I think they were a bit confused about that one.
Yeah, I mean, like a man is someone that blazes a path. A man is someone that is an adventurer. I would say a man is someone that finds their own way in the world. And if you consider what Campbell said, which is very, very true, in that everyone is different. Everyone has a different path. Everyone has something unique. I mean, you can share something. You can share a beer, you can share a steak sandwich, you can share a laugh, you can share a movie. That's great. Everyone likes companionship at certain points in their life, inclusive me. You get lonely, you want to be with someone, but no one can share the same life as you. It's impossible. Like I found over the course of the last many years, I'm starting to understand what reason is. People are not reasonable. People like to say they think, and people like to use their thoughts, but they're trapped in this echo chamber of their head of having all this BS pointed back at them, from what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, instead of using your system to consider, if everyone's different, all systems are bad. If everyone's different, all rules are horrible, because what works as a rule for someone doesn't work as a rule for someone else. Campbell, who's an English speaker, who's also a man, who's of an age of me, he still had a very, very uniquely different life than me. We have some commonalities, but our lives have been vastly different. We're learning from each other. And the reason I bring this up is, how can you possibly know someone who doesn't speak your language, who's maybe not a man, who's maybe somewhere else in the world, who's maybe of a different age, who's maybe of a different culture? Campbell mentioned tribes at the beginning of this chat. How can you possibly expect them to want, desire, need, or even have the same reality as you? Like you can't get validation from someone. It's impossible. Like I said, I saw the bluebird. It's true. No one's going to have that experience. No one was sitting there. No one felt the winds. No one felt the fact that I was there 2 weeks beforehand. No one felt the tiredness I felt before I walked there, and my desire to go beyond, wanting to take a short walk and ending up having to take a long walk to get there, realizing I'm more than my thoughts, more than what I want. And who can imagine what you are going to get if you allow on this road home to realize there probably is no real road, and there probably is no real home, in that you're already there. You're already on your road. Like, everyone's already who they are. Everyone's already home, because everyone's already in there now. So in some ways, it's a trick title and a trick question and a trick path, in that you can only undo, I think. That's why, I did a video recently, shoveling shadows pit. And I think it's about, getting rid of your phantoms, getting rid of your shadows, getting rid of whatever is bothering you, so that you can maybe uncover what's already there, the beauty and wonder of life, the desires to be where you need to be. And I've heard a long time ago, being free and being happy and being energetic is more of what you don't do than what you do. Right? You don't tell other people what to do. You don't indulge in bad foods. You don't make yourself unhealthy. You don't chase monetary, compensation as a means to an end. You don't tell other people what they can and can't do. It's more like you allow yourself to have your day-to-day, to see what your heart is saying, and to take that forward, so that you can become, maybe even happiness. There's an article we put up today on the newagora.ca. Check it out, by Gary Z. McZee, Beyond Happiness. He's even saying, like, people that say, I just want to be happy. Even that's not necessarily true. Maybe you're just there to explore life. Everyone has happy times. Everyone has sad times. Everyone has miserable times. Everyone has horrific times. Everyone has all these times. So, it's impossible to always be happy. The same way I would say it's impossible to always be sad. So maybe it's more like you look at this great picture as the different experiences you can have while alive, and to see as an artist the best that you can be for yourself and from yourself, and maybe to share that, and to allow that to become, as Campbell says many times, your legacy, just by becoming the best person or man, woman, whatever that you can be, and to see what that brings you in your life.
Yeah, and it's got to be your version of it. Like me, the best man I can be is not going to be the best man that, someone else, or Lorenzo, or whoever. It's not the same vision. And this is the thing, like, even if you, like married couples, right? They're together for years and years, and they do so many things the same, but it doesn't mean that they interpret things the same and they end up the same person with the same dreams at the end, because every event we interpret differently. There's this story of these two sons, and their dad was a thief and a robber, and in and out of jail all his life. And when these, the two sons grew up, they went through the same life, but when they were in their sort of 30s, they got interviewed, and one was a lawyer, a successful lawyer, and one was in jail. And they interviewed them, and they said, why do you think that you ended up here? And they both gave the same response. They both said, well, with a father like mine, how could I be anything else? Right. So one's interpreted it as, oh my God, my dad's a thief, so I must be a thief. The other one's interpreted as, oh my God, my dad's a thief. I need to do something different and change my course, and bring it out something good. So, on this good, what is good? If you're happy all the time, how do you know you're happy?
Mm.
You've got nothing to compare it with, right? We need the ups and the downs. We grow through the hard times, forged in fire, all this kind of stuff. But people tend to look at these, challenges as bad things. Oh my God, so why does this always happen to me? Well, the reason it always happens to you is because you're not learning the lesson.
Yeah.
So you're going in a circle. You're projecting the past into the future, and then do. That's why it always happens to you. Where if you sit down and go and really ask the question, okay, so why is this happening to me? What am I doing to cause this? How is this my fault? Then you'll get an answer. You can grow and then go forward. And this is why we've talked a lot about don't have gurus and all these to be successful, you must, write this list and you must do this, and this every day and hustle, or else you're a failure. Well, that's someone else talking. That's their life. It's not going to work for you. It might, but 99% of the time, it's not going to work for you, right? And then people throw up their hands and like, oh my God, poor me. Why is the world against me? Well, the world's not against you. You're against you, because you are putting other people's wants and beliefs above yours. So this is, we talk a lot about trust, trusting yourself. So trust yourself, trust the universe, believe that if you believe it's all for you, just that little paradigm shift. Okay, everything's happening for me, apart from, this is a prison planet and this world sucks and oh my God, the government, just that change in thinking will change your life, because you'll start seeing the messages, you'll start seeing the lessons in life. And then you can grow forward. And the other one is you sit on your couch in the fetal position, rocking back and forwards, in front of Netflix, going, oh, poor little me, poor little me, poor little me. And you're going to be there in 20 years unless you make a shift in your mind. And again, it's got to be your shift. It's got to be your idea. It's got to come from inside, or else it's like God, the universe, whatever this, this power that the one is, if you're constantly berating it and saying, why are you doing this to me? What do you think it's going to give to you, right? Yeah. It's like if you look at it as your best friend, right? God's your best friend. And you're like, I want this. And something happens and you just see it as bad. You're like, oh, F you, man, this sucks. Why are you doing this? What do you think your best friend, if that was a best friend, what do you think they'd do? They'd be like, oh, okay, fair enough. I'll see you later. I'm just trying to help, and then you're giving me all this crap. So it's life is an inside job, right?
I mean, if you can see the wonder in having the same shitty experience over and over and over, or seeing the same shitty politicians over and over and over, or seeing the same evil world over and over and over, what a beautiful experience that this one, the all that is everything, God's Spirit, is giving you. Because if you change a little bit inside, you'll see the change on the outside. And if you don't change on the inside and you keep getting the same experience, it's exactly why the all of everything is your best friend. It keeps showing you, well, you're not changing, so the world's not changing. You still expect shit, so that's what you're getting, right? You still feel that the politicians need to help you, so that's what you literally keep getting what you're asking for, what you're projecting, who you are. And then you're expecting, like when you're 30, 40, 50, like, why are you waiting for someone to change your life for you? Like, how old do you have to be before you realize it's your fault? It's your responsibility. It's in your hands. I mean, wouldn't that be the best parent in the world that says, okay, you're an adult now, go for it. I'm not going to help you anymore, because if I keep helping you, you're going to keep expecting me to help. Like if you're waiting for the Jesus to come save you, or you're waiting for the politicians to raise the minimum wage for you, right? Or, you're waiting for them to change the rules so you can travel, or you're waiting for them to say it's okay so you can visit your grandmother. You're waiting them, take on the mask, take off the mask, do this, don't do this, pay your taxes, don't do this, do this. Like if you're waiting for them to change, you're a baby. You're basically your whole life, you're a little baby in a crib or a tiny home, which is basically a crib in a jail. And you're like waiting for someone to say, you can do this, it's okay. You can't do that, it's not okay. You're a good girl, you're a bad girl, you're a good boy. I mean, it really is vomitous for me. And I've been there to understand and to see that, what am I waiting for? holy shit, I've been waiting my whole life for someone to tell me it's okay to be free, or it's okay to go on an adventure. And you don't have to wait for anybody. You just get off your ass and keep walking. If you have a hard time, great. I mean, your home is comfortable, sure, but adventures are never comfortable. Right. The unknown is never relaxing. You don't know where your food's coming from. Maybe you don't know when you're going to sit down again. You don't know when you're going to get a drink. You don't know when you're going to, get a shower, let's say, you don't know when your feet are going to stop hurting. But that's always been the best experience of my life. Is you'll walk up a mountain, you'll go on a 10-day journey. I remember traveling in my van and not showering for a few days. And the first time, because we didn't have any money, so we were living in a van and there was no showers. The first time you see a river, you jump in the river. And I remember having this experience. It's very cold, but you're getting clean. You're going, wow, this is the best experience of my life. Oh my goodness, I'm in a river and there's a bird and I see a fish over there and the trees are over there in the wind and I'm freezing my ass off and I'm a little ashamed because my friends are watching me, swim naked over here and I don't care because I need to, I need to get clean. But man, those hard weeks up until that one experience, like it still sits with me today. The hard times are the best of times, right? And the easy times are easily forgotten. So, that wrong road home might be the right road home, and the right road home that's easy. The hard path is the easy path. And the easy path is the hard path. I've heard that as a saying, and I know now that it's true. It's like those experiences that kick your ass and encourage you to be a better man or a woman or a person. Those are the ones, man, that you're going to sit back and remember for the rest of your days. Not the ones where someone came up and said, yeah, can I buy you another round, buddy? Who remembers those? Those come and go. Yeah.
Just follow me down this dead end road. And this is, it's all got to come from within, right? The statue is not finished when there's more to add. It's finished when there's no more to take away, right? So this, and what that saying means is get rid of the minutia and the crap that's being sent at you, and what is it that you want, right? You've got to take away all the propaganda, everyone else's opinion, everyone else telling you what to do. Get rid of that, and then you'll find that you actually do have the answers inside you. You have the dreams. You can walk the road, and as long as you're open to experience, and this is judgment, right? And I've said it, quite a few times. We're told don't judge, and I would say judge people, but don't judge experience. Don't judge circumstance, because with an experience, we don't know where we're going to be at the end. But if someone's running at you with a knife, or someone's next to you going, "You suck, you'll never be anything," judge them as someone that you don't want to be around and get away from them. But with experience, we don't know, right? Like Lorenzo said, often through tragedy, we grow and we end up at a much better place. But if we're judging it as, oh, it's so tragic, poor little me, then we're never going to get that lesson, and we will never grow.
I think there's an old Christian saying or an old God saying, I'm not religious at all, that says, God's never going to give you a challenge you can't, overcome, you can't succeed with. So if there's something in your life, whatever, as hard as it is, you can sit down and cry, you can sit down and complain, you can sit down and say you're a victim, and then, that's what you'll get. You'll go, you'll get an experience and you'll decide in that experience you're a victim. And then the world that loves you will say, okay, you want to be a victim? Here you go. You're a victim. What are you going to do? Maybe nothing. Some people are going to sit and be victims forever. My mother was a victim, till the time she lost her mind and she's lying in bed and can't move right now. I've seen other people have similar experiences. They're poor me, they're victims. And then you watch it and you go, wow, you want to get old and powerless and be a victim? Or do you want to do something else, right? You want to grow beyond that and realize that these experiences are there for you to figure your way through them. Sometimes a horrible experience is just there for you to leave. You don't got to change. If you're having a bad relationship and someone never changes, leave it. A job, leave it. A country, leave it. A politician, a way to be alive. Just say, I'm not interested. Thank you. Even if you've been your whole life a lawyer and you're making $2 million and you got stressed and you're trying to change the system so you don't know, sometimes all you can do in a bad situation is not be there, because it's up to you. And then who knows what's going to come next? Like maybe you'll be hungry. Maybe you'll be chased by creditors. Maybe you'll have to, detox from all the bad food you've eaten. And so you'll, like, when I used to eat sugar like crazy, and when I was 35, I decided to quit. I was literally in bed for 5 days, like lying on a couch. I remember, and but I saw, because it felt like I had a bad flu. I'm going, wait a minute. All those times I had the flu growing up, was that just the fact that I had too much shit in my body? my body was getting, so I had a horrible experience. I was lying there almost comatose for 5 days, wanting sugar so bad before. And that bad experience showed me for me, it was just a bad addictive drug that I had to stop. Right. So, it's kind of, maybe everything that's bad is kind of like that. Maybe you have to go through. I mean, I've heard about heroin, people that are addicted to goes, you chase it your whole life. You have a bad experience your whole life. And really, you just have to put up with a couple of weeks of feeling bad and then you're okay.
Yeah, yeah. With drugs and alcohol, they always have, what do they have, the 10-step plan and all this kind of stuff. The problem with that is all these people who go through the 10-step plan, you can meet them 20 years later and they'll tell you that they're an alcoholic still. I'm an alcoholic, so I can't drink alcohol. Well, what? It's just a change. Don't not be an alcoholic. Be someone who's chasing their dreams. Be someone who's healthy. Be someone who's making better decisions. And, with bad circumstances, like Lorenzo mentioned, you listen to yourself. We're not saying if something's bad, go through it. It's got to be good if it's bad. Like if something's bad and you're like, oh, that's bad, get away from it, right? But if you don't have that feeling and stuff's happening, well, go through it and see what's on the other side. Because if you don't, you're just going to go through it again in a different way, a different circumstance that has the same lesson. And you'll just do these roundabouts. And, 20 years later, you'll be going, oh, my God, why is it all so bad? It's because you're getting what you ask for, right? When you say, poor little me, why is life so bad? The universe goes, life's so bad? Oh, that's what you want. Okay, I'll give you some more bad. And then you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So we do get everything we ask for, in my humble opinion, and it is all our fault. So, judge people, like I said, but don't judge circumstance, have the guts and then the trust in yourself to go through it. And like I said, if you believe it's all for you, then it is, right? If you believe it's all against you, then it is. It's, what's that saying? If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Keep wash yourself. I read a quote by Rumi: be like snow that washes itself for your life. If you keep washing your experiences, you keep accepting who you are. You keep wondering, like, is a flower trying to save money? Or a flower is just alive to be a flower, right? Or just be alive. See what it does. If you need to make some money, go make some money, right? If you're feeling bad, go do something that makes you feel good. Like, life isn't as complicated as people make it out to be. If you don't like a circumstance, leave it. If you need to be healthy, get healthy, right? If you need more sleep, get more sleep. If you can't sleep because you have to do something, enjoy the fact you have to do something, then get more sleep. Life is not so complicated. People have these visions, take it back to what Campbell said of what life has to be. You need this amount of money. You need a bigger home. You need to eat at fancy restaurants. And, maybe you don't need any of those things. I found, maybe that's just a waste of your space and time and life. I've seen so many rich people on their deathbeds die. They're not happy. I've met 1,000 of them, literally. Growing up, I've met so many of them. I have relatives who are that way. And you go talk to them, see if they're happy. Don't ask them if they're happy. Just watch them. Watch their bodies, watch their actions, watch their children if they have them. Ask yourself if these people are truly happy, or if they're just in a gilded cage, as they say, stressing themselves until they die and wondering what life is all about on their last breath, going, I hope there's a heaven because I didn't do it well here, right?
Well, a lot of people tend to look at other people who monetary successful or materially successful, and they think, oh, why is it so easy for them? Why do they get everything? But you don't know that person. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through. All right. So when that happens, most of the time they have been through all the crap and dealt with it, and so they've got to somewhere they want to be, or they've been following the system. They may have got monetary and material success, but they're not happy.
Yeah.
So this whole, oh my God, look at them, they've got a Porsche and a house on the beach. Oh, they're so lucky. Their life must be so wonderful. You don't know that. And like I said, there's so many stories, and I would say more than 50% of these stories are people are unhappy, and they get to a point where they're like, I've done all this stuff based on other people's information, and I'm not happy. Everyone thinks I'm successful, but I don't think I'm successful. So the whole thing is, again, life is for you. You can only see life through your eyes. You can only experience it through your body, right? So do that. and believe that you can get where you want to go, and see life as a journey, see it as a road. And that road as well, has lots of forks in it and lots of dead ends. And it's fine to go, whoops, took the wrong
Whoops.
turn, better go back, and realign. And the other thing I would say is have a connection, be connected to something. If you don't believe in something bigger than yourself, it's pretty hard to become more of yourself.
Mm.
It is, so when these, challenges come up, don't just react, instead try and act, get connectedness. What can I learn from this? Take some quiet time. How is this helping me? How can this benefit me? How can I go forward? Rather than this reaction of, oh my God, poor little me, rah, 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 because there's wisdom in everything. There
Everything.
really is. Like Lorenzo said, you can look at a flower and go, wow, that's just a flower. It's just being, right? It's just there to give nice colors and nice scents. It's just being who it is. It's not trying to be a tree. It's not trying to be a cat, because if it did, it would fail, right? It would be it wouldn't be a happy flower.
No.
It'd be wilted. So things are what they are, but we can change them. But don't judge the circumstance you're in. Look for the silver lining. Like all that, we have so many saying, right? Not, of course, I like saying, but there is a silver lining, but it's only there if you look for it. You'll only see it if that's what your core belief is. That if you believe things can get better, then they can get better. If you believe you're a victim and, oh my God, things will never change, then you're a victim and things will never change.
I mean, maybe as we're coming perhaps to the end of this video, do an experiment with me. Look at yourself. Look at your hands moving. Look at your eyes moving. Feel your body and your energy. Like, look at the miracle of even being here, of being alive. I mean, I don't care what they tell you that the cells do this and your lungs do that. And you're like, how are you here? How does an insect move? Like, you look at these complicated little things that are this big and they're alive and the 8 legs moving and they're so small. I can't even comprehend what life really is. Like, look at the miracle of even having been born and having been here. And then contemplate not being here for a second. I used to do this when I was a little boy. What does it feel like when I'm dead? And I used to give myself shocks. So, if you contemplate the miracle of life, you contemplate being dead, maybe the reason I'm suggesting this is a practical exercise of evolution is maybe you'll give yourself the motivation to get over the programming of caring about stupid things, of caring about, people saying you're handsome or you're sexy or, or you're great or you're not, of caring what other people are saying, by realizing, what is this life? Like, how are you even moving? What is this electricity, this body, this energy? Like, what is consciousness? What is awareness? What is power? What is discipline? What are all these things? I mean, everyone needs to answer that for themselves. And if you realize, your life is a gift, you're only here for so long. What the F are you doing? If you're wasting your time being angry or saying you're stuck in a marriage or saying you're stuck in a job or saying you're stuck in a mortgage or saying you're stuck here or saying you're stuck waiting, like, why in heaven's name would you want to waste your precious gift waiting 4 years for a new politician to come and say it's okay for you to have $5 more? I mean, I can't even imagine, like, why are you letting someone tell you you have to wear a mask and take these poisonous things so that you can travel to see your grandmother, who doesn't even recognize you anymore in an old age home, or like, and why do you care if there are children being, tortured? Like, I got that again. I mean, of course it's not a nice thing, but why are you allowing this, is what I'm saying, to stop you from becoming the magical, wonderful being that is, I would say, the birthright of all of us. I mean, consider, you're not going to get another chance. No one does. It's one shot, one life. Even if you believe in reincarnation, even if energy never dies, which I feel, even if it goes around and gets recycled, you won't be you again. You'll never, exactly. Campbell will never be Campbell. Lorenzo will never be Lorenzo. Even if you get reincarnated a million times and you remember a little bit of your past lives, which I kind of do sometimes, doesn't matter. The one you have now is who you are now. And if you like who you are and you appreciate who you are and you really feel you can be giving something more, time's
I mean, imagine yourself on your deathbed. What do you want to look back on? Do you want to look back on, oh my God, I made so much money, I had 14 cars, whoa. I mean, do you really think that's going to make you think that you lived a successful life? Or is it going to be more, you're there, you're surrounded by family, by loved ones, you've affected people in a good way, you've left some kind of good legacy, and most of all, you had fun and you became more of you and you grew. Because in my belief, if you don't do that, you will come back just to go through the same circumstances, but you won't be you.
No.
You'll be someone else, but you're just going to go through this cycle. So it's like a fractal of who we are now. If we don't learn the lesson, then it just keeps repeating. And I think that goes into lifetimes as well. If we don't learn a lesson and change in that life, then we just repeat that life cycle. So why would you want to do that? I don't get it. Make the choice to be you.
Even this video is brought to you by an example of what we're talking about. Less is more. Cambell's on a much cheaper system right now, recording this with us. It's something that cost him 30% or even 20% of what more expensive. And the more expensive system is not working. We don't need to bring in any details, but the one that's cheaper is connecting us. And so maybe you don't need to spend that extra money, is what I'm saying. Maybe you don't need to waste the extra energy. Sometimes less is more. In fact, almost often you eat less, you stay alive longer, right? Less stress, you stay alive longer. You have less things, you have to work less to get them, right? You don't have a mortgage in a huge house. You don't have to worry about making the next $5,000 mortgage payment on a land and then stress yourself and then die when you're 62 instead of living to 162. So really what I'm saying, the wrong road home could very well be whatever is making you unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, whatever. Fill in your own blanks. You don't like whatever. Maybe that's your wrong road. And maybe the right road is just simply the opposite of that and finding your own path through or over or away from, as Cambell said, whatever challenges you have. You decide whether you should go over them, through them, away from them, change them, ignore them. There's no right or wrong answer, right? It's only how you feel once you're done. And you'll know through how energetic or lack of energy you have, I find, whether you've made the right choice for yourself.
Yeah. And don't take on other people's troubles and sadness, with all this stuff. And it does come up a lot. What about the children? What about the children? Well, unless you've been through that or you're directly affected by that, it's got no bearing on your life unless you take it on. And this is a thought from the outside media. And, I know some people have been through this. And so if you have, then, that's a lesson you're going to have to go through. But for 99.9% of people, they've got no connection to any of this. And they sit there and they yell at the world, but what about the children? But what about this? It's got nothing to do with you. And all you're doing is putting yourself in a place of being powerless. You're letting out the outside influences, which is all propaganda from the media. That's where it's all coming from. You're taking it on, and that's decreasing your life, your life value, because, oh my God, it's all this stuff outside of me that's so bad. Well, you can't affect that, right? And if you really are, if you really have, like an internal pull to change something, what are you doing? Do you think that complaining about it and putting comments on people's videos is going to change something? Because I'll tell you right now, all you're doing is putting that thought into the universe, so you're creating it. You're creating more of it. All right? It's not helping you. It's not helping anyone. It's not helping the children.
No.
All right? If you're true and you're realist and you're real, get out there. Go and join a community. Join a whatever. Help people do something about it, or shut up.
Yeah.
That's really it. Because seriously, no one likes a whiner and a whinger. No one cares. All right. And really all this is, it's just another version of poor little me. Look at me. I'm in this world, and it's so bad because the children. It's so bad because the politicians. It's so bad because the pollution. This is, if you can change it and you want to get out and do something, if it's not affecting you and you can't change it, shut up and focus on what you want. Because I can guarantee you right now that if everyone went out and made their lives the best they could be and became the best person they could be, most of this stuff would disappear.
5 seconds,
We're creating it by focusing on it, guys.
Yeah. If you stop listening to the politicians, you stop listening to the news, you stop listening to the you go make a community. Eventually, maybe it'll take 10 lifetimes to change. Maybe it'll take 5 minutes. I don't know. But if you become the best and the most loving and you create a reality you would like to live in, as Cambell said, if you're pulled towards helping children, go help them already. Right. If you've got to do something, go do it. But if you had a bad experience when you were young, maybe share that in a book or a story or a dance or some art. Whatever. Don't say, I had a bad life, so my life sucks. And that's all there. I can't believe you're telling me I could be happy. It's like, what? You know, like what? What? Like why make that comment? You're miserable. You're an asshole because you're saying I can be happy because I had a bad life, so I have to be miserable. Okay.
Mm. It's Yeah, I mean, we just hear it a lot. And, I interviewed a guy called Matt. I've done 2 interviews with him now. And he's, if you listen to his story, Matt Black, it's pretty horrific, right? He, above anyone, has got the right to complain and to sit down and say, poor little me. But he's not. He's out there and he's getting it out of him. He's telling his story, and he's doing that so that he can help other people and affect it. And when in the last interview, he basically said, "Look, this has been going on a long time, but it stops with me.
Mm.
I'm going to do something. It stops with." So no matter how much complaining you think you've got and how bad you've been done by, I guarantee you there are millions of people who have been through much worse. And a lot of those millions of people have turned it into a positive, and they've changed the world and affected the world and affected other people in a good way. And that's the way we go forward. The ones sitting there, complaining and poor little me rocking around on their couch, they're not helping themselves. They're not helping anyone. So just, remember when you're complaining about the poor children, have you ever thought that, people have gone through that, and so you're not helping them, like people want to put themselves in this position, like they want to take on other people's pain. This happened to that person, so oh my God, I'm so victimized as well. It's got
Mm.
nothing to do with you. That is not your journey. So get over yourself, man.
Yeah, it's true. And if you can't, we have a course, Freedom's Calling You, helps you with that. We have an event October 6th, 7th, and 8th in Florida. Come see us if you can. Practical Evolution for Life, Port St. Lucie, Florida. We'll leave all the links below. I'll leave the link for Matt's video that Campbell mentioned below as well, so you can see he's done 2. We can leave them both below so you can enjoy those and see for yourself. There's nothing but opportunity. I have In Love Unlimited. Campbell and I have offered to teach people through our Freedom's Calling You course. By teaching, we simply mean reminding them to be who they're supposed to be and be themselves. There's no excuse for not growing up if you choose to do so. There's nothing but free stuff. If you don't have the money to pay for any of this, there's nothing but opportunity. If you choose to do it, there's nothing but wonder and beauty and the lovely ways that we can all be alive if you so choose to accept your mission in life, which I think is to become the best you can possibly be.
If you choose to accept the mission, that's right, right? And Dr. Wayne Dry, what is it? You'll see it when you believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's thrown around as in like positive things a lot. Like once you can visualize it, then you'll see. But it's also negative. If you believe the world's bad, you'll see it. Right? If you believe that people are bad to children and politicians are bad, you'll see it. You will create that for yourself.
And by letting people be, this is one last thing I'd like to leave. If you don't judge people, you let them be who they are, you'd be surprised how surprising they can be, how wonderful they can be. With my wife, I allow her to be who she needs to be. And every day, something weird comes out, something strange, something wonderful comes out that both of us didn't expect. And it's simply because I'm not saying, well, you're this person, you have to be like this, right? You're my wife, so that means you got to do these 8 things for me. Or you're my friend, so that means you got to do this. Or you're my father, so that means, or you're my child. So if you allow and you let people be, they'll allow and let you be. And then the wonder and beauty and the unknown that everyone's looking for. Everyone wants a better life, maybe. Everyone wants more power. Everyone wants something sweeter, maybe, than they have. Let's say sweeter than what you have. But you have to allow that to come by not judging the present. Like Campbell said, by you'll see it when you believe it, by not having this hold on what reality is. And maybe it can become something more simply because you're allowing it to grow into what you always knew you never wanted. What I always say, I get that a lot. I get what I always knew I never wanted, right? By allowing the unknown to surprise me, like the bird I saw. I didn't know I needed to see that bird, but it came and I go, my goodness, that's exactly what I needed today. But I didn't know it. But the reality knew more than me, or my heart or something said, Lorenzo, this is what you need to see today. And they were right. And to this moment, I feel good but I couldn't have thought about it.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say just a short story. I've recently moved across the country and turned up with not much, and basically bought a caravan, for $5,000 and got scammed. Got scammed by this scam on eBay, right? Lost $5,000 kind of thing, and I could have sat there and gone, "Oh my God, the world is so poor little me," but I didn't. I went, "That's interesting. I wonder why that happened. I wonder how that money's coming back to me." And so eventually the money did come back. I just got into the bank and said, it's a scam. And so they gave me the money back. And now I'm in a dome, right? I'm in a much better house. It's much bigger. I like it more, so I could have been in a caravan, right? A quarter of the size of where I am now. But the universe had something better in mind for me. And because I let that flow and didn't, judge it, here I am, right? And then there's more stuff going to come with it, So this is the thing. Like I said, I could have jumped up and down, and poor little me, oh my God, how dare you, scam me, I've lost money. And I would probably still be living in a tent, right? But because I don't judge it, and I'm like, cool, okay, it's a lesson. I wonder why that. I learned the lesson. The lesson was the universe said, you don't want to be in a caravan. What about a dome? That'd be much more fun. And that's what it gave me.
See, this is a beautiful example of the wrong road home. The caravan was the wrong road home. And by accepting this wrong road home, Cambell ended up in the right way. So, everyone has those experiences, I bet. I've got 6 of them sitting at the back. This video has probably gone on long enough. Maybe I'll share them another time, but that's a beautiful way to end this. I think the wrong road home. He'd been in the caravan. He'd be on his wrong road home. Instead of accepting it, everything comes back. All the energy is in a beautiful dome. He's on the right road home now by being on the wrong road home. It's a very beautiful story, Cambell. Thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you give us, a like, a subscribe, leave comments as well. Let us know what you think. Please don't leave comments saying, what about the children? Get over that. But yeah, give us all the love you can, and we'll talk to you on the next upload.
Yep, all the links below. We love you very much. Thanks for being here. The wrong road home. See you soon.
Join us in Florida.
Join us in Florida. Links below.
Awesome.
Ain't going back, not gonna buy into all that. Hey, ain't gonna hide, gonna let all the fears slide. Got Mother Nature is on my side, got all of the loving.
Hello and welcome. Cambell and Lorenzo here. We are both going to be in Florida in October, running a 3-day event.
October 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9 to 5, 3 fun-filled days. How you became who you are, where you are right now, what your future can be. 4 beautiful, wonderful topics: intuition, imagination, discipline, and power. We're going to be looking at who you are where you are, why you came to the event, what's going on inside you, all of the lovely, horrible, and beautiful things we all have as beings that have been alive on this planet. Because without knowing where you are, you can't really know where to go. For the 3rd day, the transformation of who you may like to come, the butterfly, the chrysalis, we're calling it practical evolution for life.
Who is it you want to be? What do you want to do? What legacy do you want to leave? We're going to be getting into vision statements and legacy statements. We're all here for a reason. You are here for a reason. You have something to do. It. So we're going to pull that out and get a statement so we can start moving forward.
It's more of an energetic legacy. If we're immortal, and I think we are, and we go on forever, even when the immortal coil is gone, maybe you make a vibration, an echo that can go out into infinity.
So practical evolution, we're going to start at the beginning. Who are you? Why are you that way? How are you living? How are these thoughts restricting you? How to get rid of them, and then how to walk into that life that you want to be. So it is a practical event. There will definitely be practical activities. There'll be fun. There'll be Q&A, a few tears, no doubt. But at the end, lots of happy people who have direction, know where they're going, and know how to get there. So held in beautiful, warm Florida on a beautiful piece of land, surrounded by nature. So come and join us. There are limited tickets, all the links below, and we would love to see you there for a life-changing 3 days.
I love you all very much. I can't express enough how delighted I am and how privileged I feel to be able to do this with Cambell and you in this lovely land that we get to share together.
Awesome. We'll see you in Florida, guys.
Can't make me lie to my heart. No one tells me where I should start. Freedom first is what I say. Nothing now gonna get in my way. Hey, you can come too. Doesn't matter, you're wearing no shoes.